Hello and welcome back to another phonology class. Today we're going to cover lesson 3, suprasegmental features, also known as prosodic features. Okay, this is lesson 3, unit 2 in your phonology manuals. Okay. First, we need to define what suprasegmental features or prosodic properties are, right? Supra comes from Latin. Supra means around the segment. So around the segment, meaning that we're dealing with sounds, but suprasegmentals are related to sounds, but they are not sounds themselves. All right, and I will exemplify, and you will understand that. The first of the 5 suprasegmental features we're going to cover is length. Sorry, length. We know length, okay? We covered length before, and in transcriptions, let me see how to write. We use this to mark length. Yes, it says length seems to play a role in stress. Generally, if one syllable has a longer length than the others in the word, then it is deemed to be the one carrying stress. Length is one of the more important determiners of stress. All right, so in English, then, we have two different vowel sounds, for example. We have the capital E and the long E. They are originally one sound, but length determines the difference. Yes. Therefore, we need to ask ourselves, is this a phonemic or a phonetic feature? Remember, phonemic feature comes from the word phoneme. Phonemes change meaning. Phonetic feature comes from allophones, from phonetic transcriptions. They don't change the meaning. So, is length in English a phonemic or a phonetic feature? Let's check. Look at the word live and the word leave. Do you think one has the short I vowel and the other one the long I vowel? What do you think? Do you think they change meaning? The sound changing the vowel changes the meaning? Yes, it does. In this case, live is different from leave, isn't it? They have different meanings, and therefore, length, we conclude then that length is a phonemic feature. Then we have a different type of prosodic feature called stress. Yes. But before we go into stress, we're going to cover other languages just to compare. German, for example. Here you have German. We have the word Stadt, which means city, and we have the word Stadt, which means state. Do you think length is a phonemic feature in German as well? Apparently it is. If you prolong the sound, then instead of city, it means state. We conclude then that length is a phonemic feature in German. Then we have Italian. In Italian, if you say nonno, it means ninth. But if you say nonno, then it means grandfather. So notice length not in the vowel but in the consonant in this case. Nonno. So we can conclude then that in Italian, in German, and in English, and also Arabic, it says here in the manual, then length is phonemic, a phonemic feature. What about the Spanish language? If I say te estuve esperando, or if I say te estuve esperando, does the meaning change? You can see emphasis there, but the meaning is the same. It's to wait, isn't it? So we can conclude then that in Spanish, length is a phonetic feature but not a phonemic one. Length does not change the meaning in Spanish. Very good. Then we go into intensity. Intensity has to do with stress. And we have covered stress and stress marks in phonetics last year, and still today we deal with phonetics and with stress. Okay, and it's very stressful. Okay, stress. Let's uh let's analyze this in English. All right. In English, when we change the stress in the word, let me write a word here. Uh, produce. Produce versus produce. Notice that both words are spelled exactly the same. Produce, produce. Pervert, pervert. Okay. And or there can be a change in spelling, as in critic or critique. So notice that they change the meaning. Stress is a phonemic feature in English because it changes the meaning. Let's go into Spanish. Papa. What do we have next? Papa. Yes, stress is also a phonemic feature in Spanish, in the Spanish language. Okay? This is super interesting. You need to read the manual. This preferred word stress location is super interesting. Read it later. Okay? So, we have seen two prosodic features so far. First, length, and we know how to represent it in phonemic and phonetic transcriptions. And then we have intensity or stress, and we know how to represent it by writing an apostrophe, isn't it? There's nothing new here so far. Let's go to the um, here we have a Guarani example as well. Pora, pora, but we have nasal, yes. Upe, upe, okay? So in Guarani, it's also a phonemic feature then. Stress is a phonemic feature. Read the whole manual, remember that. Okay, then we go into the third prosodic feature, and it's called juncture. This is the new one, so please pay attention, be careful. Juncture is a new thing. I will add symbols so that you can see them. Oh, where can I find these symbols? Here is one. Here is another one. And here is another one. Three symbols. Okay, because we have three juncture forms. Notice that it says definition of juncture. It is the phenomenon that characterizes the final part of a phonic group, of a melodic group, represented by vertical bars turned into arrows according to the tones rising or decreasing. Okay, so definition of juncture, the final part of a melody. The final part of a melody. And yeah, of a melody. The final part of a phonic group. The final part of a melody. Then. So if it is the final part, where in the transcription should it go? At the end of the transcription then. Okay, very good. And it says represented by vertical bars. Here you have a vertical bar here. Turned into arrows here and here according to the tones rising or decreasing. All right. Examples. Okay. let me write the transcription for you so that you can know. Seal, where is it? Seal manuscript. Okay. Uh, this is my dog, my cat. This is my cat. Okay. Whenever we speak and we give statements like this is my cat, it's a statement, an affirmative statement in this case. Every time we speak, we have certain voice volume. But as we finish the sentence, the volume decreases and finishes and fades away. So you can hear voice by saying, this is my cat. And then my voice gradually disappears. In order to represent that, the decreasing voice, then we need to use the arrow, the one that goes down, like this. This is my cat. And you know that it decreases. You know that the sentence has stopped, that there is a period or a comma there. Okay. Another example. I need to change the font again. Okay. He got dressed ate a bit, and I don't have schwas here. Imagine those are schwas and left. Okay. So decreasing juncture, yes, because he got dressed, ate a bit, and left. Finished. Okay. But notice that there are commas as well. He got dressed, comma, ate a bit, comma, and left. So he got dressed, comma, and this is the comma. Ate a bit, comma, and left. So this is the way we write the transcription. Why? Because it's telling me how to pronounce it. The idea of writing transcriptions is for people to read it and pronounce it, right? He got dressed, ate a bit, and left. One more. Again, I need to change the font. R. Okay. U. I needed 2 dots, but I cannot find them now. Happy. Imagine it has dots. Okay. Are you happy? Notice that this is a yes-no question. Are you happy? Are you happy? Do you know how to transcribe? Have you read your book? All these are yes-no questions. Whenever we have yes-no questions, our intonation, instead of decreasing, it goes up. So we need to mark this. So we use rising intonation for yes-no questions. Are you happy? Now, what about other questions, like information questions, like what's your name? Where are you from? What's your address? Are they rising? Listen carefully. What's your name? Where are you from? What's your address? All of them have a decreasing intonation. The arrow goes down. Okay, so normally English speakers raise their tone, their intonation, whenever they ask a yes no question. Very, very, very important that we know this. Okay. So questions about this? If there are questions, please write to me. We have our group, etc., etc. Okay, read the manual. It has more information. Very good. So far, three of them. Three prosodic features. The fourth prosodic feature is tone. All right, tone. And here I need to make a difference. Okay, I need to distinguish tone from tonal languages. Languages with registers, examples of tonal languages, Chinese, Vietnamese with 6 tones. They possess phonemic contrastive tones in morphemes, okay? And there are falling tones, rising tones, horizontal tone, falling and rising tone, rising and falling tones. And they make a difference. They are phonemic. The most typical example is the Chinese one. Let me enlarge the screen by clicking here. Okay, the Chinese one. These Chinese ones. Okay. The first one, let me see, this one and this one, these two. But I need to color only these two, not the whole thing. Not very good with this. I don't know why it doesn't let me just these two. Okay, let me color this. And now I'm going to color this. No, doesn't allow me to. Technological problems. Okay, let me see. I can change this. So another color, green for you. Okay, and another one doesn't allow me. Question. Okay, never mind. These two, the first two are identical. You can see the characters, they are identical. Yes, can you see them? Maybe if I enlarge more. There. Okay, identical, and these two are pronounced like this. I will show you. Like this. Ma, ma. The first two, ma, ma. Okay. The third one in green is pronounced like this. Ma. The fourth one in black is pronounced like this. And the last one with the square there is pronounced like this. Okay. Now, from our point of view, all of them sound exactly the same, identically. It says mama, ma, ma, ma. All of them. The problem is that each of these characters represent different tones. And by tones, they distinguish the words. Okay? All the words sound the same. The first word, mama, means mother. The second word, ma, means horse. The third, horse, the animal. The third word means to scold, to tell of something. And the last one is a question mark. Okay. So the first one have neutral tones. Okay. So neutral is expressed with this symbol. Okay. This symbol tells you that you need to pronounce in a scale, a music scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, sol, sol. Okay, so mama, like this. It's not mama or mama, like that. No, it's mama, mama, mama. That's the first one, that's mother. The second one is, I said horse, but the second one is to scold. To scold is ma. It has a decreasing intonation and is represented by this symbol. It starts up and goes down. Ma, like this. So the first one is sol, sol. Mama. The second one, ma. The third one has a decreasing intonation and then a rising one. Decreasing and then rising. Ma, ma, like this. And that means horse. Okay. And the last one has no tone. It's a neutral tone. So ma, like this. Ma. The full Chinese sentence then is read mama, ma, mama. Again, mama, ma, ma, ma. Like this. In that way, Chinese speakers understand each other because for us, they are just repeating the same syllable many, many times. Okay, that has to do with tonal languages. But whenever we talk about tone in phonetics, then we will not be talking about these tonal languages. We will be talking about volume. Yes, you heard well. It talks about volume in English and Spanish phonetics and phonology. Okay, I will show you the difference. This is a comparative chart. Okay, this chart compares the volume of English and Spanish. Normal volume for voice volume in Spanish would be numbers 1 and number 2. This is normal, okay? Number 3 we use only when we are upset or we're super giving emphasis. But normally we speak like this, 1, 2, okay? 1 being lower and 2 being a little bit louder, just like that. Normal Spanish, okay? In English, on the other hand, there are 4. Number 1 being meaning that the person who is speaking is not interested on what you are saying or is bored or they just don't care. Numbers 2 and 3 are normal speech for English speakers. And number 4 is used when they are excited or angry. That means that in comparison, when we compare Spanish and English volume, then we will see that English speakers are louder than we are. Of course, there are exceptions. For example, this lady, Gloria, what's her name? Sofia Vergara. Sofia Vergara. She's super loud. Yeah, she has a number 5 or something like that. Okay, but this is what we do. So whenever we speak English, then we need to have the tendency to speak with this kind of volume. Why? If we speak with our normal Spanish volume number 1, English speakers, will think that we are not interested on what they are saying or that we express disapproval or lack of interest. And when English speakers are learning Spanish, they need to avoid number 4 because we will think that they are upset all the time. Those are the differences between Spanish and English. Now, how are we going to move or transfer this into our transcriptions? I will show you in a minute. Let me finish with the 5th suprasegmental feature, which is intonation. Intonation is just the addition of stress plus length plus juncture plus tone. That's intonation. That makes up the intonation of a language. All languages are musical. All languages are musical, okay? Some languages sing more than others. For example, for us, from our point of view, Argentinians are more musical than us because they speak like this and they have certain quality. But if you ask an Argentinian if they sing or not, they will probably say no, and they will say that Italians have are more musical than they are. And it's true, they are more musical. But if we compare all languages, we will see that all languages are actually about music. Okay, now I'm going to pause it a minute and I will show you transcriptions, including suprasegmental features. All right, let's continue. Here we have some of the examples that we did previously. Remember these sentences? The first one says, that ad is on. That ad is on. Okay, that ad is on. Let's make two utterances. There. That ad is on. So the first one needs stress, a stress mark, isn't it? So let me see, stress. Where is the stress mark? I should have prepared it before. And okay, but so that you can see how it's done too. You probably will need this in the future. Okay, here. That ad is odd. Odd has the other stress mark. Okay, that ad is odd. Now, we have stress mark. Now I need to add juncture. This is an affirmative sentence. That ad is odd. It decreases, it finishes, so I need to add my juncture there. Okay. Is that it? No. Next to each stress mark, I need to add tone, volume. So what do you think? That ad is odd. Is it the same volume? Yes. Okay, so what's normal volume in English? One or two, isn't it? So I need to write a two there. Or I can say that ad is odd. Or that ad is odd. Something like that. Yes. Depending, and it's super subjective, not all your transcriptions will look exactly the same. But depending on that, I need to write the numbers. Okay. So I'm going to write number here like this. That ad is like this. And this is a full transcription. Okay. Let me enlarge it for you so you can see it very well. That ad is on. Okay. If I keep changing this and write one instead, that ad is on. Like this. Sounds like this. If I write a 3 there, that ad is odd. And if I write a 4 there, that ad is odd. Like this. So make it sound natural. There is no right or wrong in transcriptions with tones unless you write the tone in the wrong part of the sentence. For example, if my sentence is the table is brown, I would suggest to write the stress tone in table or brown. But it sounds very weird if you write the tone mark in the, for example. The table is brown. It sounds weird. Okay? So make it sound natural. Second sentence. The cop had an interesting cap. Okay, first we need to write the stress mark. The cop. Okay, sorry. Here. The cop had an interesting cap. Three stress marks. That means there will be three tone marks. Okay. One, the cap had an interesting, I will emphasize this, so three then, and cap, and a two there. Okay, let me see, and my final juncture to show the end of a melodic unit. That's my juncture. and it looks like this. The cop had an interesting cap. Okay, super subjective, remember this. Let's see the Spanish version. Okay, por eso falté tanto a clase. Por eso falté tanto a clase. Por eso, I will write the stress mark in eso. And then falté tanto. I will write the stress mark there. Tanto. And then a clase. So clase would be. Okay. And the sentence finishes there. I need to mark it with a juncture. Very good. Now I need to write the tone marks. Will that be two? Probably not, just one in Spanish. Por eso falté tanto a clase. Supernatural, por eso falté tanto a clase. Okay, so just one. Okay, let's say I change it for 3 instead. Oops, made a mistake. Change it for 3. Por eso falté tanto a clase. See the difference? Okay, and the last one, last example, él es un sinvergüenza. I will emphasize él to distinguish él from others, and sinvergüenza, vergüenza, another one. So the tone marks would be, I would say 2 for this one and 1 for this one. Él es un sinvergüenza, right? Finally, I need to mark juncture. Here, like this. Él es un sinvergüenza. Él es un sinvergüenza. The B is strong. Why? Assimilation. The previous sound forces the B to be strong. Sinvergüenza. The B after a nasal becomes strong. Okay. The spelling is sinvergüenza, NV, but the pronunciation is bilabial assimilation, sinvergüenza, sinvergüenza. Okay, we speak like that. All right. So notice that we have covered suprasegmental features today. Suprasegmental features are aspects of sounds that are not sounds themselves, right? For example, stress, tone, juncture. Okay. This is the end of transcriptions. If you know how to transcribe by using suprasegmental features, then you can say that you have learned phonetics and phonology, because this is the ultimate test to see if you know them or not. Okay, very good. So we have covered this lesson and the suprasegmental lesson. Very good. And that will be the end of unit 2. We have 2 more units and then we finish. Okay, notice how short unit 2 is. Well, here pages 56 and 57, you have lots of sentences to transcribe. You need to transcribe these sentences to practice. You need to transcribe the English sentences and the Spanish sentences phonemically and phonetically to see the difference. And also in the phonetic transcriptions, you need to add the new lesson. You need to add suprasegmental features. Apart, besides allophonic variations, etc., etc. Everything together. This is the ultimate test. Okay? So with this, we've finished Unit 2. See you in Unit 3 soon then. Goodbye.